topic. First thing, you need to get up from your seats, pick up your bags. You are moving 1/4. So these are 4 quarters. One behind this gentleman, 2 and 3 and 4. If you are sitting in the back, you have to move to the front quarter. If you are sitting in the front, you have to go to the back quarter. Change your seats. नहीं आपको लास्ट सीट पे भेज दें आपको वैसे खड़ा होना चाहिए आप बातें बहुत करते हो इधर आप इधर आ जाओ नहीं तो बहुत डिस्टर्ब करते हो
और ये आज वाला तो बिल्कुल हमें नहीं पता आज वाला हमें सुनना है जरूर
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Do you know why I have done this? I'm taking care of some of the naughty kids in the class. These two are separated today on the front row. They are not sitting with each other. Sorry. Shouldn't be doing that to you. Okay. We'll start with nitty-gritties of the session. But this morning I had an amazing experience. And I thought I should share with this class. It's directly relevant to what we are talking here. So in my lifetime, I've seen 2 amazing entrepreneurship examples. One is in our family. One of my wife's cousin who started a fashion business. She studied from a private sort of fashion institute. As a young kid, she used to come to our place after marriage. And they now have a fashion business which is employed. Last time I spoke to them, they said they're employing 6,500 staff members. They export to different countries. So that's one which I have seen. The second one is a Chandigarh-based story. So this story, how many of you know Saranjit Singh? Not many? Okay. So Professor Saranjit Singh is one of our colleagues. All of us from pharmacy program in the university sector know him. He was my colleague in NIPER. I was in NIPER from 95 to 98, and he was professor of analytical chemistry there at that time. He's senior, I think he's 8 or 9 years older than me. But a good family friend. We used to live on campus, so became family friend, and it was a very good relationship. So he has 2 kids, one of his son and daughter. His son's name is Prabdeep Singh. So the story I'm going to share is from Prabdeep Singh. So this morning Saranjit came to see me. We had breakfast together. I invited him, old friend, meeting after 30, 25 plus years. So it was good to catch up on various fronts. So Saranjit is now retired and he lives in Chandigarh, Mohali somewhere. Okay, so the story is about Prabdeep Singh. So Prabdeep Singh as a boy, I mean it's like friend, son growing up in the same neighborhood kind of situation. So we have seen him growing from this age group. And NIPER used to have functions for family members. Independence Day, he would sing a song, Punjabi mein or kuch. So we have those memories. So this boy was a very strong cricket player in his time. He used to go to training in Mohali Stadium. And he was trained by Kapil Dev for some sessions. He was so good at it, he has bowled to Kapil Dev. And then when he got to year 12, he had to make a tough call whether to continue with cricket or studies. So Saranjit and I used to talk about how difficult it is for kids in India to decide a career, because sports as a career is not very easy to maneuver. So this boy decided to do MBA. there's some institute in Bombay which has management, pharmacy management combined. So he did that, 5 years degree, got a management degree out of it. After that, he got into Glenmark. He worked with Glenmark for 4 years, and then he said, I'm sick of it. I think he had entrepreneurship in his blood. Not blood, of course, Saranjit is an academic like me, but entrepreneurship in his thinking. So he said, I want to do another MBA. So he applied for MBA in different places. I'm giving you this full story. It may be boring, but it's relevant to exactly what we are talking here. How entrepreneurship develops, how we come across different things. So please excuse me for some of the stuff which may not be relevant. So he applied for MBA in different places around the world. He didn't get anywhere. He got it in France. There was some degree program which was a 9-month management program. And he joined that program. This program was very heavily on entrepreneurship, which is what we are doing in 5 days, he did in 9 months. In this program, there was some competition, some private sponsor who was offering a competition and prize for best project and pitch. Very similar to what you are doing. You're doing a small project. Is there a prize, madam?
We will try. I'm planning
Okay.
to have.
Say there may be a prize here as well.
How many teams would we have?
9. Yeah. So there was some prize attached as part of this competition, and there were 3 friends. One was French, one was Prabdeep, another one from some other country. And 3 of them started talking of doing a joint project, exactly similar to what you are doing here. During that time, one of Prabdeep's friend in India had died in a road accident. And he was lying on the road for over an hour without ambulance or any patient care. And he died on the scene because of not absence of ambulance. So these 3 friends were talking about what project we should be doing. Again, very similar to what we have been talking for last 2 days. And they decided, let's create a project on providing faster ambulance services in India. Okay? They submitted that proposal, worked on it for 9 months throughout the program. They submitted that program and they won that prize. And the prize was 50,000 euros at that time, which was about 12 lakh rupees. This must be 15 years ago, I guess, 15 to 20 years ago. Not that long. Even his son would be, I think, less than 35. He should be around 30 now, right? 30 Caspas? Yeah, 30 to 35. So it was probably 6-7 years old story, not 15 years old story. So they got that prize, and he got 50,000 euros. But the management of that institute said, we are not giving it to you as cash. You have to, when you go back to India, you have to set up a company and we'll transfer this money to this company's account. Okay? Follow the story here. That's where it gets interesting. Now is the real part. So the entrepreneurship started with a need. He came to India. They came into India. They started this company. Don't remember the name, Sen something at that time. Now it's called Red Health, but it was a different name at that time. So they started this company and they transferred money and they said 12 lakhs is not enough, we need more funds. How do you find more money? We have been talking about money. So 3 friends, each of them said we are going to put 5 lakhs each. So Saranjit paid 5 lakhs for his son to get into this business. Again, I've been talking, maybe you have a grandfather who is rich and who can pay money for your business. Right? The same thing. In this case, Saranjit paid 5 lakhs for his son to start his business. And 2 of their friends, they brought 5 lakhs in, 15 lakhs and 12 lakhs came from the prize. So they had capital of 27 to start this business. They started this ambulance service in Hyderabad or Bangalore, one of the cities. Now they are very heavily focused in Hyderabad. They started ambulance service. Their principle was, we are going to provide rapid ambulance service whenever somebody needs it. That's a service which is lacking in India. I don't know how it is now, but that time it was a big gap. So I started this business, which has grown over the years. and last year's capital net worth of this business was 1,000 crore. That's where this business has now reached. You can try searching for Red Health in your break time. You know that? You're doing that already? Yeah? So Red Health as a business, his motto was very simple. I'm going to provide ambulance services, whatever mechanism it takes, in every part of the country. He's still working on that model. So they started, I don't know how they did it, what all they provide, but this morning Saranjit was saying that their businesses, they've tied up with Google, they've tied up with Blinkit. So they are the official medical emergency service provider for Blinkit. And Blinkit pays them a lump sum money. And anywhere in the country, anybody from Blinkit falls from a bike or something, their ambulance will come or they will organize whatever mechanism. They started with simple ambulance service, but they're now expanded to air pickup of patients, train delivery is not the right word, train transport. So somehow making sure that patient gets to the hospital as soon as possible. That's the business principle. So business is now called Red Health. And he was very proud that my son, I'm a poor dad of a rich son. The son's business values at 1,000 crore. Now in this time, two of his friends pulled out of business a few years ago. They capitalized, they took money, whatever their share was at that time. So he's the sole owner of the business now. So I don't know, and talking of investment, the other thing which is what we are going to talk today is collaboration and expanding partnerships. So what they have done, he started, Prabdeep also realized that there's a gap in marketplace. There are not enough educated staff who can help ambulances, right? Paramedical staff. So he's tied up with some university and he has started a certificate course in paramedical health. So he decided what has to be trained because he's running the business. He knows ambulance staff, what all services they need, what kind of training. So he has designed the program, but they need a university to provide the degree. So he's tied up with some university, I don't know the name. That university provides a certificate course for students who complete that paramedical course. So he's building up the trained staff. He's linking up with corporate businesses. With Google, his understanding is that any of the Google staff in India, if they get sick, they get annual money for entire Google team. I think he was saying 3 crores every year comes from Google. And that money, that ensures that it's like insurance. You buy it and then when you need the service, this Red Health will provide that. So that's their business model, but he has expanded into training big time. The other thing he was saying is they're trying to tie up with companies like Fortis, that rather than you maintain ambulance services, we'll come and become your ambulance provider. Because you don't do it well, we know how to do it right. So hospitals have started buying into that business. But the challenge there is that Fortis may have old ambulances which he doesn't rely on. So if he ties up with Fortis, he has to procure new ambulances. And each of these ambulances costs 30 to 35 lakhs. So if he assigns 4 ambulances to Fortis Hospital, he has to invest almost 2 crore. 5 ambulances might end up with 2 crore value of investment upfront in any business, and with any tie-up. So he's partnering with these institutions, but rather than making money from them, he is investing into it. Now, in the long run, obviously that money will be recovered, but at this stage, he needs that money to be able to provide those services. And as a result of that, his total net business return at the end of the year is in negative because they're investing more and making less. And how do you keep business going? If your business is in negative, you find investors. So he's linking up with a lot of other investors who are putting money into his business on the assumption that one day they'll be able to recoup it back. Right? Are you following me here? You can see the logic. So
investors now see the promise.
it's the promise. That's what you do to investors. You tell them that I mean, you'll do projections that with Fortis, I'm starting this business, I'm putting 4 ambulances, I'm investing 2 crore, but these ambulances will run for 10 years. Every year we are going to make this much money. This is how you project and work out your profits and put all this together and convince an investor.
And how about social corporate responsibility or corporate social responsibility? They also
Social responsibility is built into it, right?
no, the corporates also now investing.
Corporates are also investing, so you must be.
Not under CSR would be that has to be something, some contribution where the company is not getting anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they would not invest this much hard at least. छोटा छोटा मिल सकता है.
I mean, I don't know.
India में अभी they've started a concept. It was there already कि एक certain turnover से ज़्यादा है, so they have to contribute a percent of their revenue for corporate and social responsibility. That was happening already,
Yeah.
but now since 2 years they have included universities into it also, that you can give something to the universities.
Okay.
So I think that
Some of it must be happening. I have no idea. I mean, he works with different hospitals and some of them may be contributing. They might say, you need 5 ambulances, we'll provide you 1. I mean, it depends what kind of deal you make with different partners. In the end, hospital is benefiting from it. Like imagine Fortis, if their ambulance services was crap, and if this new guy comes in who brings new ambulances, he has the models which provides rapid service, Fortis will develop a reputation that if you get stuck somewhere, call Fortis. So Fortis will develop more business out of it. So eventually they will benefit. And in that process, if they are committing some investment, it's not a bad thing. Right? So I don't know what's their model, what they're doing. But I mean, I didn't go into details. He got a bit late in reaching me. I wanted to dig out a lot more details for this class, but it was very interesting to listen from him how his journey has progressed. So he was saying today he's in Singapore pitching to an investor. Some investor from Singapore has called him, and other countries are now looking at his model. They want him to come and start those services in those countries. Singapore probably won't need it. Singapore is pretty advanced. But Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, there are other countries who have similar issues like India. So that I'm sure there would be opportunities for him to grow internationally as well. I mean, India is such a big place to cover anyway in the first place. So he can, and look at the model. The model is currently heavily focused on Hyderabad, South India. I don't know why he started from South India. It may be because one of his other friend was from there, one of the 3 friends. But he's heavily based there, and he's trying to add more and more stuff spreading around the country now. And look at this scope of how much he can spread. I mean, if he has to cover India, he probably will be multi-million, multi-billion business by the time he is able to do that in next 5 years' time. So it's a model which can keep growing. There's no, even if competition comes in, you create a reputation and service model that works for you. So, all right. Thoughts, questions? I've shared what I got from him this morning, but I thought it was very relevant to what we are discussing here. Any ideas, anything that you want to talk about? I may not know the answer, but I can get you answer. I can call Saranjit and get an answer. Yes.
I have seen one more company that's the medical travel company that's launched in Dubai by the Indian founders. There
Okay.
are 4 founders, and one of the directors, Mr. Prayag. And directors are the old founders of the Dine Out India, Nikhil, Vivek, Ankit, and Sahil. So they have launched the same product in Dubai, and now it will be operating in India. And that's travel medical company. They also provide the air ambulance services on the remote areas. The concept is same. Basically, maybe they must be having differences, but the same kind of thing.
Similar.
Yeah, and they also have tie with the hospitals and doctors. Same.
So competition will be there. But then you have to find ways of dealing with competition. For example, he started ambulance services, but now he started education part of it. which other companies may not be doing. And I'm sure he must be looking at other ways of continuing to grow his business and doing other things. When he started with ambulance only. I was not even aware of. This morning only he told me that he started the degree program, diploma in paramedical sciences. So you have to keep thinking of line extension. What will you do to, you will have competition no matter what you do. I mean, this is an example which was very unique when it started. And even within 5 years, we are already talking of competition. In fact, competition coming from outside. So this will happen to any kind of product. So when we think of our translation, innovation, we have to think of what we are doing today. There will be competition. It's unavoidable. Somebody else will pick it up. You're talking of competition in business. I've seen competition in research. When I did my postdoc in US, when we developed this Faxi product, my boss used to say that every field of research has life of 10 years. In 10 years' time, even if you start a completely new thing, in 10 years' time, either you'll be very successful or you'll be a flop. Research is unknown, so that can happen. If you are a flop, it's dead anyway. But if you are successful, you have 10 other people doing the same thing. It happens to me all the time. When I come to India, when I deliver lecture in any university, whatever field of research I talk about, 2 years later, I see a paper in the same field from the same university. Every time I've traveled to India, 2 years after, somebody from that group, like listening to the group, they will say, this is an exciting field, I want to start working in this area. That's very common. But it's not a bad thing, it's competition. I mean, my ideas are also not new, I may pick up from somewhere. So I'm not blaming anyone in this process, it's just the nature of competition. But what it means is I need to keep evolving. I need to keep doing different things. I don't know if you know about 3D printing. We started research in 3D printing about 6 years ago. I had 2 PhD students. Our first papers were wherever they were, we submitted those papers, they got accepted because it was new. And now there is so much competition in 3D printing, every university is doing it. So this year, I've decided not to give 3D printing project to any student. None of them are doing it, just because if everybody else is doing it, it will be very difficult to be innovative there. And then you'll be doing more of the same. So I moved out. In 5 years' time, I'm not doing 3D printing anymore. But that means I have to find something else, right? I have to keep my life going and my passion and research going. So my boss's thing, it's stuck in my head, 10 years' time. But what I've realized over the years, this time has even shorter now. It used to be 10 years probably in his time, when my boss was active researcher. But now it's probably 5 years, not even 10 years. AI, technology, sharing of information, that has made the life cycle even shorter for a lot of things. So we have to continuously keep on evolving, which is hard, it's not easy. You know. Okay, any other thought, any other on Pradeep's story? So you got a clue about finance generation, right? Yesterday, for your project, we have been talking about it. You got some clues about collaboration, what all can be done, right? You got some clues about how to start an innovation, what was the need. In this case, the need was clearly defined. I've lost a family member, one of my not very distant relative. This boy he was studying engineering in Jaipur. He was driving from Jaipur to Delhi. He was riding his bike and he got stuck on the road and he died on the spot. There was no ambulance for almost 2 hours. After 2 hours when they reached there, he was already dead. So it has happened to me personally, I know. So I can see why Pradeep's business will do well. And it's doing very well. For someone to go from 27 lakhs to 1,000 crores in 5 years' time is a miracle. But it can happen. So you see very few of these. Like as I said, I have seen 2 of these stories in my lifetime. You might have seen others and you might know other people who have done so well. But within my close circle, with people I know personally, I've seen only 2 of these. All right. Okay, let's move on. Anyone, anything from last 2 days that we have covered so far?
This topic. So I just want to ask, what is the basic content that we have to cover in the patents? Like suppose I perform some, I have to prepare some formulation, then I have to apply for the patent. Then in the methodology portion, what type, I have to give the detailed methodology and what content we have to.
Is there internet on this computer?
Just back.
No, I think I have a USB. I might be able to. No, just hold on. I think I might have used a file from. Just leave it. Come out.
I'll place it.
It's not. It's
Get
not.
folder.
Yeah. My USB. How do I?
Isn't connected yet. Now.
Not, okay. No, not this one. Sorry. Just give me 1 second, I'll be with you. So the question I have been asked is, what goes in a patent? Yeah? No, it's okay. No, let it be, that's okay. There's nothing that secret here. I'm not showing them anything confidential. Why is it not opening? Okay, just slow.
The system.
Okay, I think it's just slow. Okay, so the question that I've asked is what goes in a patent, and the best way to do it is to look at a real patent, and then I can explain from here. Okay, something very interesting, which is, so this is one of our patent certificate given by US Patent Office. This is a real communication, and they issue this kind of certificate. Then you see a maintenance fee notice here. All right. Now, remember I was talking about that once the patent is granted, government agencies want to keep charging a fee for 2 reasons. One, if you are interested in it to maintain, you have to keep paying us money. If we don't charge you anything, you will keep it and nobody else will be able to use it. So, and one, they want to make money from companies. That's first, of course. The second is the fee puts a pressure on people to either use it or lose it. If you don't want to use it, you will stop paying money because it's so expensive. If you're never going to use it, then the patent, they will reject the patent. They will say this patent terminates on this date because sponsor is not, inventors are not keen on pursuing it. Invention becomes available to everybody else to use. Anybody else in the society can use it, right? So this is the first part. Second part is, Okay, this is how a patent looks like. Method for treating bacterial infection. There's a number here, there's a date of patent. US patent number and the date there. The date says that from this date, you have the ownership rights on it. We were talking of provisional patent and PCT. Those do not give you any rights. The right starts the day the patent is granted, not before that. Before that, you have priority date on it. You can say we were the first to invent, but you cannot claim your rights on it. You cannot stop others. But from this date, the patent is granted. This happens after review process. Then you get this date. And what you see here is applicant, in this case, is a company. Inventors are two of us from there. Assignee is nuclei. Assignee means they own the ownership of the patent. I'm just the inventor. It's almost like authors on a paper. Ownership is still owned by university, but we act as authors on the papers, right? So assignee is nuclei. Now, for any commercial gains of patent office does not care about it, FDA does not care about it. It's between us here to figure out what if the company makes money, how much they give me or not give me anything, that's between us. So from patent office point of view, they are the owner here. It's like Neeraj's bike example. Neeraj owns the bike, he can give it to a friend to ride it, but he still owns the bike. Okay? Sorry, Neeraj, I'm pulling a little too much. Okay. So, in terms of contents, so a patent has an abstract. Similar to scientific papers, you have to write an abstract there. Then if you look further down, these are different, some data included. There's a lot of data files. So it's almost like a scientific paper. You have to have a lot of data there, justify what you are claiming. And more data you have, stronger your patent is. This should be, okay. Then there's information about background art, which is again, if you have written scientific papers or if you've seen one, it's very similar to that. A lot of background information, a lot of usual blurb, global emergence of virulence, gram-positive, resistant bacteria, all of that goes in there. So you have to justify. It's almost like a story. You have to explain to the patent office what is the story about. Antibiotic resistance, that's part of theme of this paper. Summary of invention. Then you have to indicate what are you protecting. Okay, summary of invention, which is basically this is what we have done. And then you come to brief description of the drawings, description of embodiments, examples. So in your patent application, you have to have examples of what you want to protect. So you need to show, you have to have a prototype ready, and then you have to include those as examples. So in this case, we provided, this is our compound which we are trying to protect as an antimicrobial. All right? If you try to make some claims and you don't have data for it, then your patent becomes weak there. Because then somebody else, like I was talking of omeprazole yesterday, in our omeprazole patent, we have said omeprazole injection that we have developed will be useful for human application as well. So we've got the patent on it, but we don't have any data. We have data on horses only. So that's a weak part of our patent. Tomorrow, if a company wants to challenge this patent, then it can very easily do that. But if we had one example there of human use, then they won't be able to, then we'll be in a stronger position. Okay. So that's example. And then some more examples here. 5. You can see number of examples that are included. Correct. Different compounds and formulations, yes. No, these are not known. So for patent, one of the requirement is it has to be new. So everything is new. Whatever data is here is new. So you cannot have anything which is already known. Okay. I think there's a part missing here. So another important part which is missing in this file is probably came in two parts. It was too big of a file. The second part is on claims. So each patent would have claims which would say what are we claiming. So then claims would define what you can fight for and say we are claiming we have a new compound which can do this, this, this. Claim to applications of this compound, whatever is the content of that patent. That's the next part which is quite important. And patent office, when they review this information, they don't care much about background data that you provided. They put a lot of emphasis on claims because that's what you can stop others from marketing. So the focus is on claims. These are amazing source of, we use these patent search all the time. In all my PhD projects, students are told to look for patents for new information, more than publications. We rely quite heavily on these. So in terms of filing, basically you have to write all of this up and submit to patent office. It's almost like submitting a paper, very similar to that. I can probably show you, let me see if I can get to this. Computer is a little bit slow, so it's taking time. Okay, so this document is our provisional patent application that we submitted for levodopa and carbidopa. I'm showing you the real application. No pictures, please. Oh, no, now you can take pictures. This is, no, but this is already on internet now, so it's in public domain. Okay, so this is a provisional application for the invention, composition for in situ implants formation, applicant, inventors, compositions, field of invention, background of the invention, of the invention, brief description of the drawings, very similar to detailed description of embodiments, compositions. Okay, I can probably search for claims.
Provisional application will not have claims.
You have to have those. No, you have. Okay, just one second. I'll come to you. So,
We don't put claims.
as you can say, this document has claims, composition comprising polymer, second polymer, composition. This is the amount of each polymer, 15 to 40%. Composition where second polymer is, so you go through text, technical stuff, try to make as many claims as possible. So the trick is to file a patent with a lot of claims. Patent office will reject half of those. Whatever you get is your protection. That's what you can claim ownership for. All right? Okay. Yes, what was your question?
So, provisional specification we can have an idea. So, if I file a patent with a provisional specification with an idea, and by the time 1 year is complete, when I have to file the complete specification, and I am not done with the complete studies, let us say the proof of concept, so how do I go about?
You are right. You can file a provisional patent based on an idea. Provisional, as I said, patent office does not care about it. They don't even review it. They don't even look at it. You submit it, they save it, put your date stamp on it. Then you have 12 months to complete whatever experiments you have to complete. Like in this case, after provisional, we are now conducting an animal PK study with this formulation. And when we file our next phase, which is PCT, we are going to include that in the PCT application. So you are responsible for generating data. If you fail in generating the data, or if the experiments don't work, you don't go for the next phase. Just cancel the application.
Means the experiments are working quite well.
Yeah.
But then if I have to do some animal experimentation, after 1 year, then what?
Nothing. So when you submit,
जितना है उतने से फाइल कर दो,
जितने से file,
Specification file.
you can, okay, so no, in 12,
add that data into your
no. When you submit your final application, whatever data you have, you can submit, and your application will be based on that data. And the claims you will be able to make will be based on that data set only. If you do something more after that, you can file what they call as derivative patents, which are not the original patent, but you can go to sort of sequence
patent of
additional,
Up to 18 months.
yeah,
You
derivative.
can also have a divisibility patent.
Yeah,
Supposing उसमें से कोई और नया patent निकल रहा है तुम्हारा,
That can be
different.
separate thing. But once the application is submitted, it's frozen. You can
patent of addition to file कर ही सकते हो.
additional patents कर सकते हो. But you cannot modify. Once this patent is granted, you cannot change it.
पर patent of addition भी तभी फाइल करोगे जब कुछ और novel है जो उसमें नहीं आया.
Yeah.
तो सिर्फ data के लिए I don't think there is any need.
Yes. Okay.
तो ये
Yes.
is कि वो जो claims dependent ये वाला data.
Morning, sir. So, sir, let's say I have an invention. I have an invention, and I'm in the process of prior art search.
Okay.
I'm in the process of prior art search. So the problem which I come across is that I use Boolean operators to narrow down to what my invention and the similarities, but I can't get to a thing where I can streamline it. So could you please help us doing that? Key, how can we streamline and see the similar inventions similar to our invention?
I don't think I have a good answer for you. From my experience, patent search is a very tricky business. We hire people to do it for us. In our case, our university will pay a lawyer to do patent search. There are a lot of databases which are out there. Some are in public domain, which you and me can access. Some are through library, but there are a lot of paid sites which we can't even access. So these lawyers will have subscription to those sites and they conduct those searches for us. So in our case, for our provisional application, what we have done, we have gone to patent office, Australian patent office. We have paid them, I think, close to $3,000 and asked them to do a search on our claims before we can submit our final application. So we are not relying on our own search. We are relying on somebody else doing it for us. They have given a long list of information, and the information says out of your claims 1, 2, 3, 4 are novel, that's fine. This particular claim will have problem because of this information. This claim will have information because of that. So we have received that document from them, and now we are working on that document, and our final application may look quite different to what we have submitted in provisional. So I don't have any simple answer to it. It's like search for anything. Is there probably ChatGPT is your best friend to get the maximum out of it, but can you rely on ChatGPT? That's another question. So most other searches are, you have to spend time and energy on it. There's no simple solution. There's no one mechanism, no one database. There are hundreds of databases which need to be searched to be able to get the information you need. And even then, okay, so what will happen in this case, once this provisional, we submit the final application, it will become public, patent office will start reviewing it, and then public will have 2 years to object on it. And during those 2 years' time, we'll get hundreds of queries. People will come and say, I use this polymer for this drug in this publication, which you are not even aware of. They will try to break down this patent, especially companies. Industries who are involved in this process, they'll try very hard for us not to. So these are called objections, which will come to us, and we'll have to keep defending each of those objections. We have to submit our feedback back to the patent office saying that this is how we react to this particular objection. They may accept it, they may not accept it. So they will keep pushing on us to prove novelty, that your patent, what you're claiming is novel. So there's a lot of, it's a battle. It's not a simple thing. It goes on for years. So in this case, if you look at my situation, the student worked for last 3 years. So Deepa is in final third year PhD. We have filed the patent. It will be another year before we submit PCT, and then another year for submitting final application. Then it will probably be 2 years for objections. So by the time this patent is granted, it will be probably another 4 years, if you are lucky, if we can keep proving what we are claiming. So the total journey would end up being 7 or 8 years from starting the project to getting the patent. And that's if I can find money to file patents. It's quite an evolving exercise. All right, any other question anyone want to talk about? I know I'm not covering what I'm supposed to cover today, but it's being covered indirectly, so I can skip through slides quickly.
The data has to be new, जो हमें पेटेंट के अंदर लिखना है. बट इफ़ आई एम मेकिंग अ फॉर्मुलेशन जिसमें मैं एग्जिस्टिंग ड्रग्स को यूज़ कर रही हूँ या फिर कुछ ऐसे कंपाउंड्स यूज़ कर रही हूँ जो एग्जिस्ट करता है, उन पे रिसर्चेज है, तो मैं उनको कंबाइन करके अपनी फॉर्मुलेशन वहाँ बता रही हूँ, तो मुझे तो एग्जिस्टिंग डाटा यूज़ करना पड़ेगा ना फॉर्मुलेशन पहले बताने के लिए.
So the combinations, it depends on, like in this case, we are using existing polymers which are known, but we are claiming a new application of the two drugs put together. So it's a new composition which has not been reported before. So we are claiming a new composition, right? If you close the file, if you look at the document, it will say new composition of matter, which means each component exists separately, but we have put them together for a specific application, right? Which makes it novel, which nobody has done. So individual compounds, polymer which we are using are known to provide slow release from injection site, but nobody has combined those polymers with these drugs for this application that we are claiming. So that's a novelty. Okay, anyone else? Anything else on patents, since we are talking of this area? All right. Okay. So what we are going to talk today, I've already covered as part of Pradeep's example. But let's look through these slides. So what we'll learn today, master 6-step expansion framework, analyze some case studies, develop IP thinking, apply risk mitigation strategies. So what is product expansion? Again, going back to Pradeep's example, he started with ambulance services, but then he started expanding into other areas, such as education providing training staff who would be working on ambulances, which is a closely related business. And that's what we need to do with any business, any service, any kind of entrepreneurship that we want to start. We have to have something to keep moving, keep forwarding. I was talking of research area, 5 years time, we have to think of new research areas. Same thing, this is what I mean by product expansion. So my knowledge of pharmaceutical sciences is what I learned from my pharmacy school. And over the years, I've expanded into different areas. I've worked on 3D printing, I work on veterinary systems. I've learned to come to do this course. So all of that is my product expansion indirectly. All right, so this is an example of how you try to diversify and expand on. Extension of existing product or services into new markets, applications, variants to increase revenue and market share. You would have seen pharma companies doing it all the time. They might have an oral formulation, they would develop injectable for the same drug. Or if they have injectable, they might develop a nasal formulation for the same drug. All right, that's product expansion. Examples can include geographical expansion into emerging economies, going into different countries, product line extension for new customer segments, technical adaptations. Why does it matter? You want to have broaden your market access, IP generation, innovation cycle. Pradeep's example, he's running his business in Hyderabad. He might expand to Madras and other places, other parts of the country. You can see I left India a long time ago. I still call it Madras, right? Just because that's what is stuck in my head. I know it's known with a different name now, but okay. What are the benefits of product expansion? Key benefits, revenue growth. You can imagine. So keep Pradeep's story in mind. That's, you will be able to link up to everything that I'm saying on these slides. Revenue growth, diversifying income streams, IP portfolio strengthening. What is IP in Pradeep's case? Is there any? Does Pradeep has any IP? App cannot be patented. Okay. So I don't know if he uses, he must be using an app to provide ambulance service. So that app, I don't know whether it is his own app or he's using some other Google app or whatever. So I have no idea. What else is in his business that can be, that's an IP? Trademark, excellent. So the trademark of Red Health that he uses, that's his thing. He must have registered it, and nobody else, other companies from Dubai and other places can come and to do business, but they cannot use the word Red Health to provide the same service. Right? So that's the IP there. Risk mitigation, reducing dependency on single markets, innovation, ecosystem, and societal impact. I mean, his business, there's a huge impact, social impact. Every life that he saves by taking patients to the hospital in time, he's saving a life, right? So you don't need to even think of social impact in this case. That's what I love about my job. I'm helping you achieve what you want to achieve, right? So I don't need to do anything, I just need to do my job. My social impact is already happening without doing anything, right? We are very lucky in that situation, all of us sitting here as teachers. That happens by default. My wife working as a pharmacist in the hospital, she saves patient life. If a doctor prescribes wrong medicine, she corrects it and that saves lives there. So the social impact is already there without thinking.
Yeah. So yesterday I was listening to the lead provided. I listened to you whatever you said yesterday, though I wasn't present here the whole day. But yeah, you were referring to the research articles which we are producing for free. Rather, we are paying for the reader to read it for free. So I think that's where we are winning. We are doing free service, no doubt. We are also reviewing the research articles for free. But then the social impact is what matters because it's academics, isn't it? Because there was an interruption and then I could not listen to the whole thing. What was your answer?
दिल को बहलाने के लिए ख्याल अच्छा है गालिब. That's my answer. In academia, we do a lot of stupid wastage of resources. This morning when I got up, I had 7 papers to review. When I turned on my email, I had 7 invitations to review papers. If I was doing that, I won't be able to finish in the entire day. And tomorrow morning, I'll have another 7. Right? Who is paying me for doing that? We are wasting our time there. I know you learn, but can you justify from a business point of view? Except social impact. But I can't live my life for social impact. I know, I don't have an answer to that question that I posed. In academia, we do all of that. All of us do that. Universities pay us for doing that. But how do I convince my friends who ask me the question? This question was asked by a friend that you publish for free, you pay someone to publish your own hard work, and they make money? I don't have an answer for that. It's really mind-boggling. We feel happy, yes, we have contributed to science. Okay, good. Let's be happy with that. I take it. Right? That's where it stops. Okay, coming back to the point. So benefits of products expansion, some challenges, regulatory hurdles, cultural barriers, IP infringement risk, resources allocation, technical complexity. So these are quite self-explanatory. Cultural barriers. In Pradeep's business, what do you think is the cultural barrier? What could have been, I have not talked to him for some time, so what do you think he might have experienced? People relying on ambulance coming from Fortis as compared to coming from Red Health. Must have been a big thing. I can imagine if I'm a patient, I would tend to call best hospital in the state to send me ambulance. But their ambulance might take 3 hours to come and I might die by that time. So that must be a big cultural barrier. And that's what you would face with any kind of, apply this to your projects, okay? You have to remember what we are talking here. You'll have to apply to your projects and think from that angle that what are the barriers, what are the challenges that we might face. Role of IP in expansion, this we have covered already, production, licensing, strategic filing and new IP generation. Market access strategies, geographical expansion, which is going into a new market area, product line extension, vertical integration, digital transformation. So these trends in expansion and IP generation, sustainability focus, global collaboration, AI integration, and a lot of things have changed after COVID. Post-pandemic shifts is a big time, has been there forever. So how do you plan for it? How do you think Pradeep would have planned to think of, I should start a course in education? So these are the steps you go through. You assess current product and IP, conduct market research, identify opportunities, develop new IP and strategy, execute and launch, and monitor, iterate and scale. What do you think is the new IP in Pradeep's case when he's starting this certificate course? What's the IP there? Copyright on the content that he must have created. Nobody else in the world can use that material that he must have created. So education has a strong IP focus attached to it. My slides are my copyright. If any one of you use it somewhere, I'll take you to court. Okay? Because I have spent months on creating these slides. So I deserve to have that. Right? That's my IP. I can share with Induji and give her all the slides and say, ma'am, you can use it in your class. So that's what I'm licensing my IP to her. As a goodwill, whether I take money or not, that's my choice. So, but I own the right to it and I can pass it on to her. So that's licensing. Right? So in Pradeep's case, the IP is his new course that he has created. And that's if you look at the steps, that's what he would have done. Assess current product IP, conduct market research, identify opportunities, develop new IP, and launch. So what is involved in assessing current IP? SWOT analysis. You know about SWOT analysis? Someone mentioned it yesterday, so I don't need to go into details. Create cross-functional teams. Involve cross-functional team from R&D, legal, marketing, operations to ensure holistic assessment. And then key questions are, what are the unique advantages that our technology offer? What are the gaps in IP? Which aspect of product should be adopted for new uses? Do you have the necessary resources? Exactly what I have been suggesting you to do for your assignment. Do we have resources? What is the uniqueness of this thing? Why would somebody buy our product? Right? What are the gaps? What is already known? So some of the things that we were talking yesterday, other colleagues were saying this already exists, that already exists. That's the current knowledge. What aspects could be adopted for new use? What can you do differently? Okay. And do we have the necessary resources to support expansion? Market research, identify markets, analyze demand, and map IP landscape. Quite obvious. You find out what is needed, and you're already doing that. In the process of finding out your own assignment, you're already thinking of where is the market, what's the need. Analyze demand. So that's one thing I told you to think of. Think of what's the demand, how many units you'll be able to sell if it is successful. All right? And map IP landscape. How would Pradeep work out demand? How would Pradeep work out demand with his business? Ambulance service currently running in Hyderabad, maybe a couple of other states. How would you figure out potential for growth? and demand. Data from the hospitals, yes. He can link up with different hospitals, find out who has good ambulance service, who does not have. That's one way. Yes. Patient ambulance ratio. Yes, that can be useful. You think it'll be easy to get that number? Huh? Number of road accidents, yes. So for him, okay, I'll try to, I don't know the answer. I've just created the question without knowing the answer, which is the wrong thing to do. But I've done it. So let me try to think with you. So one is geographical location. He's currently based in Hyderabad. The entire India is, let's say he's thinking of India, not global at the moment. So entire India is his territory, which he can explore. Then he would start, if I was Pradeep, I would start looking at different states, what services are available in different states. Maybe Goa has good ambulance service already existing. Delhi may have it, Bombay may not have it. So he will have to somehow figure out what exists in each state. He has to also be careful about his own capacity, how much he can afford to expend. He can say, I can go to each state in India, but can he manage that? That's the next level of challenge, right? Then it's a question of finding out number of road accidents and deaths happening in each state. So if I was Pradeep, I would look at data from each state. That data should be available somewhere. I'm sure Indian government does a lot of stats. And I'll look at which state has the maximum fatalities on the road. And I would say, this is my potential market. This is where I can go next. So I probably do one state at a time and expand on based on that basis. Yeah? Anything else you think you might do differently? Absolutely, absolutely. This is, you're on the dot. So what she's saying is other states may have similar services but not so efficient services. And he has developed a model which is successful, which works. So he can partner with them and say, hey guys, you have 2 ambulances, but this is where you lack. If we come on board, we can help you with our app, our training, our trained staff who can come and work with you. We won't need to buy new ambulances. We'll still use your ambulances. You'll benefit in this process. We will get more business. This is a good, now we are talking of collaboration. You already offered collaboration to the other group yesterday. So you are very collaborative and you are thinking on those lines, which is great. That's what you do in business. Because you, as I said, Pradeep is making losses in all of his businesses at the moment. He's relying on investors to pay for buying ambulances. Now you may agree that this is not the best model, but that's working for him as long as there's somebody willing to pay for it. Right? He's able to provide new ambulances to Fortis in this process. You know, Uber makes losses. You know that? Yeah. Uber makes losses. You won't believe that Uber can make losses. But that must be the same case with them as well. They are expanding, investing, investor. And Uber's share is, I don't know, it's sitting probably at $300 at the moment. People are still investing in the company because they rely on the company, even with a negative thing. Okay. Okay, identify expansion opportunities, geographical, vertical, application, feature, format. Develop new IP strategies. So innovation phase, create derivatives, adaptation of core technology for target markets, protection phase, and strategy phase. Execution and launch, partnerships, marketing, compliance, operations, legal. We have touched upon all of these in different forms. Recommended approaches, pilot in small scale to validate assumptions. Yesterday, one of the group mentioned that they will pilot. And I suggested, they were not using the word pilot, but I suggested that, say that we are going to pilot. Okay, this is what I mean by pilot in small scale. So prototype that you are thinking, maybe you make 5 units of those. Give those to your friends and see if they like it, if they are happy with it, and what kind of feedback you get from them. So that's how you start. Establish key KPIs, monitor the IP infringement proactively. This is one of the most challenging part in industry. You have to keep an eye on others who is using your IP. Now imagine my slides, I made those here and I have discussed, shared with the class. All right, I'm relying on good faith that none of you will misuse them. But tomorrow, if you start using them, what are the options for me? How am I going to check it? What can I do? I'm not wasting all my time running after each one of you. What are you doing? Right? It's almost impossible for me to track it down. Now in this case, I would like you to use my slides. Okay, so whatever information you have, if you want to share, pass on with anyone, I'm more than happy to share. I'm giving you a license to use it for free. So that's easy. But if I wanted to control it, there's no mechanism for me to do it. I'll end up spending my life just trying to sort out who's misusing it. So it's very challenging, very difficult to control IP infringement. But industry most companies would have staff hired to just do that job. Most big pharma companies will have big IP units, and their job is to keep track of what is new coming in the market, who is filing new patents, go after them, let them not file, let them not get the grant, the patents, and then also check who is infringing on their patents. So they pay a lot of money to staff to do that. Monitor, iterate and scale, track KPIs, adjust based on market feedback, and then scale up, expanding to additional markets. So in product expansion, couple of examples. So one is from this company called BioNova Therapeutics. They had this cancer therapeutic MAB 472, 7 patents filed, and a strong composition patent, left with 7 years. And as the time was running out, they started realizing this patent will expire one day. So they started looking at other markets, other applications of the same antibody, which was developed for cancer, but they identified 5 potential rare disease conditions, and they tested and they found that the same antibody was working in those indications as well. So they found new indications for the same drug for which they were marketing for cancer. And then eventually they started a new product and filed new patents on it. They also created a new formulation because now they are going into neurodegenerative space, therapeutic area. So they created new formulation which was optimized for blood-brain barrier penetration, tracked execution, established partnership with the European Research Network where they conduct clinical trials and went into scaling up and marketing. So this is an example of product expansion. The product was initially developed for cancer, and there are several examples in literature. What's some best one? Minoxidil. Do you know the story? No? Yes? No? Someone was nodding the head. What do you know about minoxidil? One person, please. One. Raise your hand. I'll pick you. Yes. Hair growth. So minoxidil was developed. Good. Thank you. Minoxidil was developed for hypertension, but then they realized that it was helping with hair growth. Now the hair growth market is much bigger than hypertension market for the company. So that's a product line expansion example. And then we have industry case studies similar to what I have presented in other lectures. Pharma and biotech. CRISPR Therapeutics is a good example. We'll skip this bit. Yeah. This is an interesting one. Reliance's transition to green energy. Reliance from fossil fuel based power plants, they started moving into large scale power installations, battery manufacturing. Elon Musk has done this all his life. I mean, Tesla's foundation was batteries, and she started from there. So these are two examples where innovation and expansion has gone to success. Failure case, another one here, space and frontiers. NASA's ventilator. I found this to be very fascinating. So NASA had designed ventilators for astronauts going to space, but then they found during COVID-19 that these ventilators can be very useful for people for respiratory problems. And NASA being a government institution, government funded, they offered it for free to number of manufacturers worldwide, 100% manufacturers worldwide for manufacturing and distribution. And that has led to a lot of success stories and saved lives in the end. So it's an excellent example of product expansion, which was meant for a different purpose. NASA never designed it for COVID. But then opportunities came up where they could use the same thing for a different application. And we were looking at 3M and N95 mask yesterday, which is another similar story where something was developed for a different purpose, but then opportunity came and they could use it. So COVID has given a lot of good and bad things to the world. Right? So all of us have seen that happening. So this is another example of product line expansion.
Or the delivery services.
Yeah, delivery services, yeah. Working from home, delivery services, all of those are parts of COVID's gift to us. Good or bad, we have those. This another fascinating one is success story from, this is under sustainable materials, advanced materials. So this company L05 has designed tiles which are based on waste from glass and porcelain, and these are becoming quite successful. Okay. So if you review cross-theme insights, common success factors are strategic IP alignment, comprehensive research, targeted partnerships, iterative approach. Iterative means a lot of feedback mechanism built into the process. If you follow these, you're likely to be successful. Failures happen because of regulatory blind spots. We don't look at something. I'll give you a very great example of regulatory blind spot. Last couple of weeks ago, I was visiting a small regional area in South Australia. I'm doing another course for which I went there, and we were talking to mayor of this town. This town has imagine a small village in India somewhere. So similar thing, we don't call them village, we call them regional South Australia. So in that town, the town's population is 600 people. It's a very small town. And they have been feeling need for more houses. So we were talking to mayor of that town. There's a small number of towns for which there is one common mayor. So our group was talking to this mayor, and mayor said that we have been feeling need for building more houses. Our population is increasing, and because of that we need to build more houses. So council has provided permission to build 10 new houses. And they started building those houses, and they built 6 houses. Then they applied to, there's an agency called SA Water, which provides water services through that town. They contacted SA Water, and they said, we need permission, SA Water meter to be set up in each of these houses. And SA Water said, we can't provide you that. And they said, what? I mean, how can you not provide more water to 6 more houses? And they said, no, because our pipeline that is coming from somewhere to supply water to this area is just enough to supply 600 houses that you have. And our pipelines are not big enough we cannot increase water flow to cover more housing in this area unless the pipelines are changed, they are made bigger. Now, if you want to replace, Australia is a huge, big country. I mean, land-wise, that's one of the problems. It's so big that providing services is a challenge. And that's why most of our population lives in Sydney, Melbourne, 5 different coastal areas. Everything else in the middle is a big desert. All we use is that for mining, nothing else. Just because, so they said that if we want to provide more water, we'll have to change our pipeline for thousands of kilometers because this water is coming from somewhere, and we'll have to make these pipes from smaller to bigger to be able to provide more water to you. And in the end, they decided to scrap those building projects. They had foundations done, some groundwork done. And we were saying, why didn't you check with SA Water first before starting building? And they said, mistake, that happened. This is an example of regulatory hurdle. You started a new project without doing the right checks. In this case, you can classify it regulatory and not regulatory, but it's regulatory in the sense that you can't live without somebody authorizing you to use water. Okay? So regulatory hurdles, you would have seen many examples of this type. So if you are thinking of a business, that's important to keep in mind. IP market disconnects, patents that don't address key customer value propositions or use cases. For your projects that we were thinking, number of ideas that you had, we were debating who's going to use it. If you file patent, you can have the patent, but patent office is not buying your product. Customer has to buy the product. Do they see use in this technology? You can file patent for anything. And that's why if you look at patent literature, it's only about 0.2% of patents which are used in the marketplace. The rest of them get never used. So it's a very small number. Overexpansion and validation gaps. So some example. This is self-explanatory. Key takeaways, you need to have a strategic approach, learn from others, balance innovation and risk, and integration is the key. So, some references as always, and thank you. So we have 5 more minutes from this session. Happy to take up any questions. Anyone? Yes.
I want to know, like, basically we have developed, suppose in a product line expansion time, our basic product was like a soap kind of thing. Later on we entered in the, you can say, cosmetics like body lotions, perfumes and other things, 10 product lines more. So do we need to file patent for all the products we have developed in the product line again? Or only once we have to file the patent?
So the question is, she has created an example that she has created a novel kind of soap for which she has a patent, and now she wants to create product line expansion in the form of shampoo, lotion and other cosmetic products. Question is, will the same patent apply to all those products or not? It will depend on what you have made in the form of claims when you're filing your patent application. So if your soap has novelty of some kind which is patentable, when you're drafting your patent application, before that you have to think about, right now we have soap, but maybe in 3 months time we might have a shampoo, 5 years down the line we might create a lotion out of it, or the same principle. You'll have to think of all of that and put in your application that this novelty that we are using, I'm providing an example of soap, but this may also be used for lotion, cream, gel, ointments. And you will make claims on those. Now when you file the patent office will review that information, and they may or may not grant you the application. They try very hard to make it narrow. If they allow you to make very broad patents, then that will stop people from using things. So their approach is to keep it minimum. People who file patents, their approach is to maximize. So it's a negotiation and who can convince who type situation. So if you are lucky to get, let's say you're lucky to get, so there can be 2 scenarios when you submit your application. Either the patent office will say, you have only shown us example of soap, we can only cover that, rest of the things we are not going to cover. Or they might say, it looks very logical, we can allow you to do that. Now, if they allow you to do that, as I was showing you examples, your patent application has to have examples of products. So you have example of soap which you already have, so you will have that in the application, but you will not have example of lotion or creams or gels because you have not prepared those. That will be the weak part of your application. So a company, if you become very successful, you become a multi-million-dollar business, another company wants to get into that business, they can simply go to court or challenge that patent part and say, you gave them this, you authorized this patent incorrectly because they didn't provide you even an example. So then you'll have to fight with them in the court, and if they win it, they might be able to create a lotion based on the same technology. Because once you start selling, your technology will become available. Somebody can buy your product, they will know what it is. Right? So it is a legal battle. You may win it, you may lose it, or nobody can even think of it. Somebody may not think of it, and you might be lucky that I can keep selling lotion and other things. So every product is different. And the difficult bit is not just what you want to do, it's also about what competition wants to do to you. Competition would want to kill you. So that's part of the game that we have to play in business. Yes.
Suppose, sir, I have developed an product. Suppose I have developed an product and I have filed an patent for that, and another person has idea of repurposing that like product for another purpose. So will it be the person will it be eligible for like patenting for the other purpose for the same product or not?
So the question is, you already have, somebody has a patent and somebody modifies it, repurposes, and they try to get a patent for it. Each patent has to comply to the requirement of novelty, non-obviousness, and usefulness. 3 requirements. So it doesn't matter where your idea started. Every idea starts from somewhere, right? So it doesn't matter if you started from a patent, but when you go to file your second patent application, they will look at novelty in that application. Is there enough novelty there? Was it obvious that you already have this? So in this case, for example, if there is soap of a particular kind of magic material, creating a lotion or shampoo, I would call it obvious thing. So even if she files a patent, a separate patent for it, patent office might say, this is meant for cleaning the hair. You are cleaning with soap, now you're cleaning with a shampoo. They're very similar, it's an obvious thing, and she might not even get a patent for it. So it depends on novelty, how strong is the innovation, which is very difficult to prove. And sometimes it ends up with judgment call of the patent office, what they decide. You can feel it's novel, but they may say it's not novel enough.
I would just like to add here, in India, you don't get patent for applications. So you don't need to worry within India if anyone repurposes it for any other application. You get the patent only for the technology if the technology is the same. So as Doc Sab says, अगर उसमें कोई novelty, कोई technology में वो change ले आते हैं, तो then that person can get a new patent. But outside India, you might get patents for application, but still you have to fulfill those 3 requirements.
I think we are on dot now, time for tea break. Yes, so we start back at 11:30?
Yes.
Okay, we start back at 11:30. Thank you.